You are not tired. You just feel unfulfilled. You wake up with dreams but go to sleep with regrets. The pain? It is not failure, it is wasting your potential. It is knowing deep down that you were born to do more, but doing nothing about it. This story is not just words, it is a mirror, a call to fight for your life before regret buries it. If you are tired of merely existing and ready to start living with purpose, you need to hear this. Don't wait any longer. Start taking action. Today, Mind Fuel Books tells you about Rewire Your Brain or Stay Broke Forever. Part 1. No one's coming. It's on you now. You ever wake up and feel like the world is spinning faster than you can keep up with? Like everyone's out there, moving forward, getting things done, while you're stuck, waiting for something or someone to give you a push? Let's get one thing straight. No one is coming to save you. Yeah, I know that's not exactly the soft, cozy pep talk most people want to hear, but sometimes the truth is the very thing we need to break free. This isn't about being harsh, it's about being real. If you want to win in life, to truly succeed, the only person who can make that happen is you. It all starts with one decision. Every transformation, every comeback story, every breakthrough starts the same way, with a choice. A choice to stop blaming the world, a choice to stop waiting for a lucky break, a choice to take ownership of every part of your life, no matter how messy it is. And that choice, that's the beginning of something powerful. That's the moment you take back control. Because here's the truth. Success doesn't come wrapped in luck or delivered by someone else's approval. It comes when you decide that enough is enough and you're ready to bet on yourself. The power of daily commitment. Think about the strongest version of yourself. Not just physically strong, but mentally sharp, emotionally grounded, and spiritually focused. That version of you doesn't show up by accident. They show up because you built them one small decision at a time. You don't need massive motivation. You don't need to wait for inspiration. What you need is consistency. Start with the basics. Read 10 pages a day. Work out for 30 minutes. Journal your thoughts. Set realistic goals and show up for them, even when no one's watching. You might not see results overnight. That's okay. This isn't about instant gratification. This is about playing the long game. It's not motivation, it's discipline. People love to talk about motivation. They wait around for it. They chase videos and quotes trying to feel fired up. But motivation is fleeting. Some days you'll feel it, most days you won't. That's why you need something stronger. Discipline is what shows up when motivation doesn't. Discipline is what gets you out of bed at 5 a.m. when no one's clapping for you. It's what helps you turn off Netflix and turn on your focus. It's what says, I don't feel like it, but I'm doing it anyway. That's how growth happens, not in the loud moments of hype, but in the quiet, lonely ones where you still choose to do the work. Build yourself every single day. Imagine this. Every single day is an opportunity to take one step closer to the life you want. You don't need to leap. You don't need to sprint. You just need to move forward one choice, one habit, one focused action at a time. Because the truth is, you are building something. You're building a mindset. You're building mental resilience. You're building the future version of yourself that doesn't crack under pressure, that keeps showing up when things get hard. And that version of you, they don't need to be rescued. They don't need someone to tell them they're good enough. They know who they are because they've been through the fire and kept walking. What are you really focused on? Let's be honest, in today's world, your attention is under attack. Social media, opinions, gossip, negativity, it's everywhere. The news screams, the comment section drags you down. And if you're not careful, you'll spend more energy worrying about things that don't matter than building the life that does. Focus is your superpower. You have to protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Turn down the noise. Shut out the distractions. Stop listening to voices that don't know your vision. Because the more you focus on what everyone else is doing, the less time you spend building your own greatness. You've got to train your mind. You go to the gym to train your body, but what about your mind? You've got to train it to ignore the noise, to stay locked in on what matters, to cut through the doubt, the fear, the judgment. Every time you choose silence over arguing, reading over scrolling, purpose over impulse, you're training your brain to be unstoppable. And don't get it twisted. This isn't about pretending to be perfect. This is about getting better on purpose. Start showing up no matter what. Success doesn't come from what you do once in a while. It comes from what you do every single day, even when no one's watching. So show up, even if you're tired, even if you're discouraged, even if no one believes in you yet. Because the truth is, you don't need a crowd. You just need the courage to keep going, to show up for yourself, to show up for your goals, to show up for your future. You're all you've got, and that's enough.
Part 2. The world is loud, but you stay silent and focused. Have you ever tried to work on something important only to get pulled in 100 different directions? One message, one notification, one opinion. Suddenly, this thing you set out to do that day, it's buried under noise. That's the world we live in. It's not just busy, it's loud. And if you don't get intentional about protecting your mind, you'll lose it in a crowd of distractions. You don't need every opinion. Here's something we forget too often. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Some people criticize because they're afraid of your progress. Some people mock your dreams because they gave up on theirs. Some people don't even understand what you're building, and that's okay. You weren't made to please everyone. You were made to pursue your purpose. And your purpose, it doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need approval. It just needs your focus. Pure, disciplined, daily focus. Focus is a skill. And like any skill, it can be built. But first, you've got to eliminate the junk. Let's be real. You know what's killing your focus. It's the endless scrolling, the mindless distractions, the need to always know what everyone else is doing. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. Try this. Turn off the noise. Give yourself 30 minutes. Just you, your goal, your work. No notifications, no outside opinions, no digital noise. What you'll find is this. You're more powerful than you remember. Your mind is sharper than you think. You just haven't given it the space to show you. Not everything deserves your energy. One of the most life-changing lessons you'll ever learn is this. Your energy is limited. Protect it. You don't need to argue with everyone. You don't need to explain your path. You don't owe anyone an update on your progress. Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes walking away is power. Sometimes not reacting is how you win. Let people say what they want. Let them judge what they don't understand. Because while they're talking, you're building. Vision over validation. You've got a vision, right? something inside you that says, I was made for more. But here's where most people get stuck. They want to build something great, but they also want everyone to like them while they do it. That's not how it works. The bigger your vision, the less people will understand it. The more serious you are, the more pushback you'll get. And when you finally decide to level up, don't be surprised when the room around you gets quiet. You're not crazy. You're not wrong. You're just focused, and most people aren't used to that. Don't trade your vision for validation. Don't give up your future for a few likes today. Don't sacrifice your purpose to be understood by people who are too afraid to chase theirs. Master the art of tuning it out. You've got to treat your mind like it's sacred. Because it is. It's the control center of your life. You've got to learn to tune out the noise, even when it's loud. You've got to learn to tune into what matters, even when it's quiet. When the world says, you're too intense, you're too focused, you changed. Just smile, keep going. You're on the right track. Growth isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it looks like disappearing for a while so you can come back stronger. Sometimes it means staying home and doing the work while everyone else is out getting distracted. You don't need to announce the grind. These days, it feels like everybody's trying to prove how hard they're working. But here's a little secret. You don't have to post it to make it real. Success loves silence. Progress doesn't always need a platform. And discipline? It thrives in the dark, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's validating. Do the work. Let the results speak. Let the discipline shape you into someone who doesn't just look the part, but lives it. Silence is strength, not weakness. There's power in not reacting. There's wisdom in not explaining. There's clarity in keeping your energy for the things that matter most. Because the deeper you go into building your life, the less time you'll have for petty battles. You're not here to prove people wrong. You're here to prove yourself right. You're not here to convince them. You're here to create something meaningful. That takes energy. That takes focus. And both of those things thrive in stillness. Let the noise fade. Keep your eyes forward. At some point, you have to make a choice. Do you want to be liked, or do you want to be legendary? Because legends don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't chase applause. They just keep going. They stay focused when others fall off. They keep showing up when no one notices. They keep pushing forward while the world scrolls by. That can be you, but only if you're willing to let go of needing to be seen and start focusing on becoming someone worth remembering. You've got this. Stay locked in. You have something inside you, a drive, a fire, a vision. And right now, you're being called to protect it. Don't waste your focus on what doesn't matter. Don't let noise rob you of your peace. Don't let doubt creep in through the voices of people who aren't even on your path. This is your season of focus. And if you stay locked in, you'll be amazed at what happens next.
Part 3. Fight for your dreams, even when you stand alone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever had a dream that felt so real, so alive in your chest, but when you tried to share it with others, they just didn't get it? Maybe they laughed, Maybe they looked at you sideways. Maybe they nodded politely but never took you seriously. Here's the truth most people won't tell you. Your biggest dreams will often make other people uncomfortable. Not because you're wrong, but because your courage reminds them of everything they've been afraid to chase. You might have to walk alone for a while. This is the part nobody likes to talk about. Chasing something bigger than you means being willing to be misunderstood. At some point, you'll look around and realize that nobody sees the vision but you. You'll wonder if you're crazy. You'll second guess whether you're too ambitious, too intense, too different. But you're not. You're just ahead. And when you're ahead, it's lonely sometimes. But lonely doesn't mean wrong. It just means you're on a path most people aren't willing to take. People won't always clap. Keep going anyway. In the beginning, nobody claps for the early mornings. Nobody celebrates your sacrifices. Nobody sees the nights you spend grinding when everyone else is asleep. But later, when the results show, that's when they'll ask how you did it. That's when they'll want the shortcut. That's when they'll say, you're lucky. They weren't there for the doubt. They didn't see the tears. They didn't hear the negative voices in your head telling you to quit. But you kept going, and that's what matters. Doubt will come. Face it head on. Even the strongest people hear that voice sometimes. You're not good enough. You don't have what it takes. You're wasting your time. That voice doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're human. But the people who win, they don't listen to that voice. They talk back to it. They remind themselves, I've come too far to quit now. I'm not here to be perfect. I'm here to be consistent. I'm not doing this for applause. I'm doing this for who I'm becoming. Every obstacle is a test of will. You will get knocked down. You will hit walls. You will face silence, rejection, delays, and frustration. But these aren't signs you're failing. They're invitations to grow stronger. Every no is an opportunity to get better. Every failure is a lesson, not a life sentence. Every hard day is building grit that no one can take from you. So don't run from resistance. Lean into it. Let it shape you. Let it harden your focus. Let it sharpen your discipline. Your dreams are worth the fight. Let's stop pretending it's supposed to be easy. Growth hurts. Discipline costs. Success demands sacrifice. But you know what? So does regret. So you have to ask yourself, would you rather suffer the pain of discipline today or the pain of regret tomorrow? Because those are your options. And I promise you this, fighting for your dreams is worth it. Even if no one claps, even if no one understands, even if you're the only one who believes. Believe in you, even if they don't. You don't need everyone to get it. You don't need to convince them. You don't need to argue for your dream. You just need one believer, and that's you. Because belief is contagious. When you believe in yourself enough to show up day after day, to keep building when there's no feedback, to hold the vision when the results haven't shown up yet, that belief becomes your fuel. You are the example someone else needs. You may not realize it, but someone is watching you. Not in a creepy way, in an inspired way. They see you trying. They see you grinding. They see you show up even when it's hard. And because you didn't quit, they won't either. That's the beauty of walking your path with integrity. You become proof that it's possible. You become the example they didn't know they needed. So no, this isn't just about you anymore. This is about every person who needs your courage to find theirs. Keep walking. The path will make sense later. Right now, you might not understand how it's all going to work out. You're putting in the effort, but the results feel slow. You're making sacrifices, but the payoff feels far away. Let me remind you, progress often shows up in silence. You won't always feel it. You won't always see it. But something is happening every time you stay disciplined, stay committed, and stay focused. Later, when you look back, it'll all make sense. You'll realize that every lonely step was necessary. Every hard season had a purpose. Every moment of doubt was shaping a version of you that was unstoppable. You don't need permission to go all in. Stop waiting for someone to tell you it's okay. Stop asking for approval. Stop looking for a sign. You are the sign. You are the permission. You are the proof that starting messy is better than never starting. You are the green light you've been waiting for. So go all in. Bet on yourself. And if you fall, get up, because you're not doing this to look good. You're doing this to win.
Part 4. Show up for yourself every single day. There's a quiet kind of power that most people overlook. It's not flashy, it's not dramatic, it doesn't get posted on social media. It's the power of showing up every single day, even when no one's watching, and especially when you don't feel like it. That's where transformation happens. It's not about feeling ready. It's about being consistent. Let's be real. You're not always going to feel motivated. Some days you'll wake up tired. Some mornings you'll wonder if all this effort is even worth it. But here's the secret. You don't need motivation. You need consistency. Motivation is a feeling. Consistency is a decision. And the people who win, they make that decision over and over again until it becomes who they are. Build habits that don't rely on willpower. Think about this. When's the last time you brushed your teeth and had to motivate yourself to do it? You didn't. You just did it because it's part of who you are. That's the goal here. To build systems, habits, and routines that are so ingrained in your identity, you don't need to feel like it anymore. You just show up. The gym, the journaling, the early mornings, the reading, the planning, the execution, these things stop being tasks. They become part of you. No one's coming to save you, so save yourself. This might sound harsh, but it's the truth. No one is coming to rescue you. Not your boss, not your parents, not your friends, not a miracle. This is your life, your responsibility, your future. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll stop waiting for the perfect time where the right person to give you a hand. The truth is, you are the hero of this story, and it's time to start acting like it. Small steps every day build massive momentum. Here's something powerful to remember. You don't have to make huge leaps every single day. You don't have to change your life overnight. You don't even need to feel like you're making progress. You just need to take the next step. Maybe it's 5 push-ups. Maybe it's 10 minutes of reading. Maybe it's 1 more email. Maybe it's getting out of bed and drinking water. These may not seem like much, but over time, they stack, and momentum starts to build. Consistency compounds, and small wins lead to big victories. Do the work, especially when no one's applauding. Nobody's clapping when you stay late to finish that project. Nobody's cheering when you skip the party to write your goals. Nobody's patting you on the back when you get up at 5 a.m. to go run in the cold. But that's okay, because this journey isn't about applause. It's about alignment. It's about becoming someone who honors their word, someone who values growth more than comfort, someone who shows up not for recognition, but because it's who they are. And eventually, those quiet efforts, they'll echo louder than any round of applause ever could. Discipline is a form of self-respect. Let's flip the script. Discipline isn't punishment. It's not about being hard on yourself or living a boring life. Discipline is respect. It's how you prove to yourself that you matter, that your goals are worth the effort, that your future is worth protecting. Every time you show up when it's hard, you're telling yourself, I'm worth the work. And that kind of belief, it changes everything. Don't confuse movement with progress. You can be busy and still be stuck. You can check off boxes all day and still go nowhere. That's why showing up isn't just about doing anything. It's about doing what matters most. Focus on the needle movers, the habits that shift your identity, the work that aligns with your goals, not just what feels urgent. Ask yourself daily, is this helping me become the person I want to be? If the answer is yes, do more of it. If the answer is no, it's time to refocus. There's power in boring reps. You know what most people quit on? The boring stuff. The early alarms,
The morning routines, the clean meals, the repeated workouts, the journaling, the quiet work no one sees. But guess what? That's where real growth lives. Champions aren't made in the spotlight. They're made in the boring, quiet hours when no one's watching and there's no reward except the satisfaction of doing it right. Do enough of those boring reps, and one day, you'll wake up in a life you're proud of. Be your own accountability partner. Nobody's going to drag you out of bed. Nobody's going to force you to write that plan. Nobody's going to knock on your door and say, "Hey, it's time to be great." That's on you. So check in with yourself. Ask, did I do what I said I would today? Did I give it my best? Did I honor the version of me I'm trying to build? If the answer is no, don't beat yourself up. Just reset, recommit, get back at it tomorrow. Because you're not aiming for perfect. You're aiming for progress. The journey is slow, but it's working. I know it's easy to feel behind, to think you should be farther along, to feel like your effort isn't paying off. But here's the truth. Most growth is invisible at first. You won't always feel different. You won't always see the results right away. But underneath the surface, something is shifting. You're building confidence. You're rewiring your mind. You're proving to yourself that you are capable. Keep going. Keep showing up. That's how you win.
Part 5. Eliminate the noise. Protect your focus like your life depends on it. There's a battle happening every day, and most people don't even know they're in it. It's not a fight with other people. It's not even a fight with your circumstances. It's a fight for your attention. And if you don't learn to win that battle every single day, you'll lose time, energy, momentum, and eventually your future. Distractions are the enemy of greatness. We live in the most distracted generation in history. You can pick up your phone and lose 2 hours in a heartbeat. Notifications, messages, drama, endless scrolling, all pulling your attention away from what really matters. And here's the scary part. Distractions don't feel dangerous. They feel small, harmless, like little breaks. But stacked over time, they cost you your dreams. Social media isn't bad, but it's a trap if you're not careful. Let's be honest. Social media isn't evil. It connects us, inspires us, makes us laugh. But when you start comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, when your self-worth is tied to likes and views, when your attention is hijacked every 5 minutes, that's when it becomes a prison. You have to draw the line. Because if you're always consuming, you're not creating. If you're always reacting, you're not building. If your attention is everywhere, your energy goes nowhere. Your environment is either fueling you or draining you. Take a look around you. What's on your desk? What's on your phone? What conversations do you let into your ears every day? Are they sharpening your focus or are they scattering your mind? Here's the truth. Your environment is a silent force. It either helps you grow or it holds you back. So create a space that supports your future. Clean your room. Turn off notifications. Set boundaries with negative people. Replace noise with knowledge. Don't let chaos be the background music to your life. Guard your mind like it's sacred, because it is. You wouldn't let just anyone walk into your home and dump garbage on your floor. So why let anyone dump garbage into your head? The conversations you have, the content you watch, the voices you listen to, they shape your beliefs, your self-image, your ambition. So ask yourself, would the future version of me, the one I'm building, consume this? If the answer is no, you already know what to do. Replace the noise with clarity. You don't beat distraction by just avoiding it. You beat it by choosing clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of goals,
clarity of who you're becoming. When you know what you're working towards and why it matters, it becomes a lot easier to say no to what doesn't. You stop scrolling so you can start writing. You skip the party so you can plan your next step. You ignore the haters so you can fuel your craft. It's not sacrifice, it's alignment. The power of intentional focus. There's something rare, almost magical about someone who's truly focused. In a world addicted to dopamine and distractions, a focused person is unstoppable. Because when you lock in, really lock in, you do more in an hour than most people do in a day. So schedule your focus like it matters. Block time. Silence your phone. Get into deep work. Create, think, plan, grow. That's how momentum is built. That's how purpose becomes progress. Don't multitask. Multiply your impact by doing one thing well. Multitasking feels productive, doesn't it? Juggling 5 tabs, checking messages, listening to a podcast while answering emails. But here's the truth. Multitasking is a lie. You're not doing 5 things well. You're doing 5 things poorly. The brain thrives in single task mode. Laser focus, deep flow. That's where your best work lives. So slow down, choose one thing, go all in. You'll get more done, and you'll do it better. Build a life that reduces temptation automatically. Willpower is like a battery. It drains. So don't rely on willpower alone to stay focused. Design your life to make focus the easy choice. Put your phone in another room when working. Use apps to block distractions. Build routines that eliminate guesswork. Associate spaces with specific tasks. This chair is for reading. This desk is for deep work. The more decisions you automate, the more energy you preserve for what truly matters. Every time you choose focus, you take back your power. This isn't just about productivity. This is about taking your power back. When you stop giving your attention away so easily, you start living with intention. You stop reacting. You start responding. You stop floating. You start leading. Every focused hour is a step closer to your vision. Every choice to protect your attention is a vote for your future. You become someone who isn't controlled by the noise, but guided by purpose. Make focus a lifestyle, not a phase. This isn't something you do for a week or a month. Focus isn't a phase. It's a way of life. Because if your goals are big, if your dreams are real, if the person you're becoming is worth it, then you can't afford to be half in. Protect your attention like it's your most valuable currency, because it is. Spend it wisely. Invest it in your vision. Guard it like your legacy depends on it, because it does.
Own your life. No excuses, no blame, no waiting. There's a moment in every person's life when the mirror becomes a little too honest. You look at where you are, where you thought you'd be, and you realize something that shakes you. No one's coming. Not your parents, not your friends, not some miracle opportunity. It's just you. And as hard as that is to hear, it's also the most freeing truth you'll ever embrace. Because if you're the problem, you're also the solution. The blame game keeps you powerless. It's easy to point fingers, right? We blame the economy. We blame the job. We blame how we were raised. We blame the timing. We blame other people's success for our frustration. But here's the catch. Every time you blame something outside of you, you give away control. You say, it's not in my hands. And when it's not in your hands, you stop trying. You wait.
you complain, you stall. You lose time. You lose progress. You lose yourself. Extreme ownership equals extreme power. Here's the flip side. When you take radical responsibility for everything in your life, your choices, your habits, your results, something changes inside you. You stop looking for someone to rescue you. You become the one who steps up, who takes the wheel, who says, no more excuses. This is my life. I'm in charge now. It doesn't mean everything that happened to you is your fault, but it means you're done letting it define your future. You can't heal what you don't take responsibility for. Think about this. You can't change what you don't own. You can't fix what you pretend isn't broken. You can't grow while you're blaming, complaining, or hiding. Taking responsibility is the first step to healing. It's how you stop reliving the past and start rewriting your future. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for someone to understand you before you move. This is your story. Pick up the pen. Every choice builds or destroys momentum. Your life isn't shaped by giant, dramatic moments. It's shaped by small decisions made consistently. Do I hit snooze or do I get up? Do I scroll or do I study? Do I react or do I reflect? Each choice may feel tiny in the moment, but over time, they add up. They either move you closer to your vision or pull you further away. You're always voting for the life you'll live next, and every action is a ballot. What are you voting for? Stop hoping. Start choosing. Hope is a beautiful thing, but it's not a strategy. You can hope things get better, or you can decide to get better. You can wish for opportunity, or you can prepare so hard that opportunity has no choice but to show up. You can wait for motivation, or you can move anyway and let the motivation catch up. The people who win aren't the ones who wait. They're the ones who act, even when it's messy, even when they're scared, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Drop the victim mindset. It's not helping you. Life may have hit you hard. Unfair things may have happened. But here's the question. How long will you let what hurt you define you? Being a victim may get you sympathy, but it won't get you your dreams. There's no growth in staying bitter, no strength in staying stuck, no power in staying small. You weren't born to just survive life. You were built to shape it. Let go of the story that says you're broken. Start living the one where you rise. The world owes you nothing, and that's a good thing. Because when you stop expecting life to hand you something, you start creating everything. You stop begging for scraps. You start building something real. You start owning your time, your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your results. This is your shot. No one's giving you another one. Turn pain into power. We all carry wounds, some visible, most hidden. But pain doesn't have to be a prison. It can be a power source if you learn how to use it. Use it to fuel your work ethic. Use it to sharpen your vision. Use it to remind you why you'll never settle again. Let your pain shape you, not shatter you. Let it be the fire that forges a stronger you, not the excuse that keeps you weak. You can't always control what happened, but you can always control what happens next. Own it all, even when it's not fair. Life won't always feel fair. People will lie. You'll lose things you didn't deserve to lose. Doors will close. Plans will fall apart. But you know what? The most powerful thing you can do is rise anyway. Own your healing. Own your growth. Own your direction. That's what winners do. They don't wait for life to be easy. They get strong enough to handle whatever life throws at them. You're not too late. You're right on time. Maybe you think you should have started sooner. Maybe you wasted years. Maybe you're carrying regret like a backpack full of bricks. But here's the truth. You're not too late. You're right on time. The only thing that matters now is this. What will you do next, now that you know it's all on you? Because once you take full responsibility, there are no limits. Not on your growth, not on your freedom, not on your future. This is your turning point. Not tomorrow, not someday, right now.
Push harder when you want to quit. There's a moment that always comes. Right after you've been trying, pushing, grinding, and nothing seems to be working. You're tired. You're drained. And everything in you whispers, just stop. Maybe this isn't for you. That moment, that's your test. Because that's exactly where most people give up. And it's exactly where you're going to grow, if you keep going. The real work begins when motivation fades. Motivation is loud in the beginning. It feels exciting. You're full of energy. You've got the playlist, the goals, the vision board. But motivation is temporary. It burns bright, then flickers out. And when it does, that's when discipline steps in. That's when you find out who you really are. Not when things are easy, but when they're silent. When progress feels invisible. When you show up anyway. I don't feel like it is not a strategy. Look, no one feels like doing the hard stuff all the time. Waking up early, doing the reps, making the call, writing the page, resisting the comfort. But the people who win, they don't ask their feelings for permission. They show up whether they feel like it or not. Because they know their feelings don't build the life they want. Their actions do. So the next time your mind says, let's skip today, you say, that's cute. Let's go anyway. Tired doesn't mean stop. It means refocus. It's okay to be tired. You're not a machine. But don't confuse tired with finished. Don't mistake I'm overwhelmed for I should quit. Sometimes what you need isn't to stop. It's to adjust. Step back. Refocus. Breathe. Recenter. And then get back in the game. Taking a breath is fine. But quitting? That's not an option. Your breakthrough lives just past your breaking point. The universe has a sense of humor. It hides your breakthrough right behind your breakdown. Right when you think you've hit the wall, you're actually just one push away from the door. But most people never find out because they stop too soon. Don't be most people. Push once more, and then again, and then again. Not recklessly, but relentlessly. Because every step past your comfort zone is where your transformation lives. Train your mind to finish strong. Finishing is a skill. It's not about how you start, not about how perfect it looks. It's about how you close. So many people are great starters, but the finishers? They're the rare ones, the respected ones, the rewarded ones. So make a habit out of finishing. Every time you want to quit, finish 5 more reps. Write 5 more lines. Push for 5 more minutes. You're not training for ease. You're training for endurance. Remember why you started.
On the hard days, and they will come, you've got to reach back into your heart and remember why you started in the first place. What did you want to change? Who did you want to become? Who were you doing this for? Remind yourself of the pain that pushed you here. Remind yourself of the dream that kept you up at night. Remind yourself that staying the same was never an option. And then keep walking, even if it's slow, even if you limp. Just don't stop. Most people quit at 40%. This might shock you. Most people quit when they've only used about 40% of their real capacity. That means there's 60% left in the tank. More strength, more focus, more creativity, more heart. But they never tap into it because they assume they're done. You're not done. You're just tired. And tired is a temporary feeling. But regret? That sticks around. Choose tired, not regret. You can rest, but don't retreat. There's nothing wrong with taking a rest. Rest is wise. Rest is recovery. Rest is how you come back stronger. But retreating is something else. Retreat says, I don't think I can do this. I'll just go back to what's familiar. I guess I wasn't cut out for this. That's fear talking. That's the old version of you begging for comfort. Let them talk. But you don't go back. You rest, refuel, and then you come back swinging. Consistency is the greatest superpower. Forget intensity. It's great, but it fades. You want something more powerful? Try consistency. Consistency is boring. It's unsexy. It's often invisible. But it's the reason champions win. It's why dreams turn into reality. It's how normal people do extraordinary things. Because when you do the right thing every single day, even when it doesn't feel like it's working, it builds momentum. And one day, you wake up and everything is different. Because you are different. Don't stop right before the miracle. You don't know how close you are. It might be one more video, one more interview, one more email, one more set, one more day. And everything changes. The results come. The recognition hits. The doors swing open. But only if you don't stop now. So when you want to quit, don't. When you want to hide, show up. When you want to scream, breathe and keep moving. The breakthrough you've been waiting for is waiting for you to not quit.
Trust the process, even when you see nothing. Let's be honest, there's something deeply frustrating about working hard and not seeing immediate results. You show up, you put in the time, you sacrifice, you give your all, and then silence. No applause, no big breakthrough, just the sound of your own breath echoing in the grind. But here's the truth no one tells you. Progress often looks like nothing until it becomes everything. Seeds don't bloom overnight. Think about a seed. You plant it, you water it, you wait. And for days, maybe weeks, nothing happens above the surface. But beneath the dirt, something is moving. Roots are growing. Stability is forming. The foundation is being built. It's invisible, but it's real. And one day, that seed breaks through. Not because of what happened that day, but because of everything that happened before it. You're the same. Your growth is the same. Just because you don't see the result yet doesn't mean the work is wasted. Don't confuse delay with denial. Sometimes it feels like life is saying no, but what if it's actually saying not yet? There's a difference between being denied and being delayed. Denial shuts the door. Delay teaches you how to knock harder, how to build character, how to hold the blessing once it arrives. That waiting season you're in, it's training season. It's where the real transformation happens, when no one's watching, when the scoreboard's empty, when the only voice you hear is your own telling you to keep going. The best work happens in the shadows. The spotlight feels good. The results are exciting. But the real work, the life-changing work, it happens in the dark, in quiet mornings, in lonely nights, in the reps no one claps for. That's where champions are made. That's where identities are forged. That's where consistency becomes character. So if you're in a season of silence right now, good. It means you're building something real. You're not starting over. You're starting from experience. Maybe you've had to reset. Maybe you've tried before and it didn't work. Maybe you're wondering if it's even worth it. Here's the truth. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from wisdom, from strength, from scars that taught you more than comfort ever could. Every failed attempt gave you a tool. Every delay shaped your discipline. Every disappointment taught you something the win never could. So when you begin again, you're not behind, you're ready. Discipline over doubt. Let's be real, doubt is always going to show up. It's part of the journey. It whispers, "Who do you think you are?" It asks, "What if this is pointless?" But the answer to doubt isn't confidence, it's discipline. Confidence comes and goes, but discipline is a decision. It says, I don't have to feel certain. I just have to keep going. It's not about never doubting. It's about choosing to move forward in spite of it. The process is the point. We focus so much on the destination, the dream, the win, the before and after story. But the real reward, it's who you become along the way. Every habit you build, every choice you make, every time you show up when it's hard, that's the process. And that process is the transformation. You don't become great when you arrive, you become great through the journey. Sow now, reap later. We live in a world of instant gratification, but success, it runs on delayed gratification. You plant today, you water tomorrow, you protect next week. And maybe, just maybe, in a few months or years, the harvest comes. But only if you don't give up. Only if you trust the system, even when it's silent. So show up today, not for the applause, not for the trophy, but because you believe in the process, even if no one sees it yet. Silence isn't failure, it's focus. Sometimes the silence of your journey can feel deafening. You look around and think, everyone else is winning, everyone else is moving faster. But silence doesn't mean failure, it means focus. It means you're not distracted, you're not chasing noise, you're doing the real work. And the day will come when the silence breaks, and everyone will wonder how you suddenly made it. But you'll know, there was nothing sudden about it. It's working, even if you don't see it. Let me say this clearly. If you're doing the work, if you're staying consistent, if you're committed to your growth, it is working. You may not feel it, you may not see it, but something inside you is shifting. Your mindset is sharpening. Your habits are solidifying. Your future is forming. So don't stop. Don't second-guess the soil you planted in. Just because you don't see the fruit yet doesn't mean the tree isn't growing. Keep building in the quiet. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're not lost. You're just building. And sometimes building means digging deep, laying brick after brick, with no crowd, no cameras, no confirmation. But that's okay, because you're not building for claps. You're building for legacy. You're building for strength that lasts.
for a future that can weather storms. So trust the process, even when it's quiet, even when it's slow, even when no one sees it yet. Because soon, they will.
Part 9. Lock in your vision and never let go. If you want to win, you have to start with vision. Not goals, not motivation, not hype. Vision. Because vision isn't just what you see. It's what you hold on to when everything else starts falling apart. Vision is the anchor in chaos. Life gets messy. Unexpected things happen. Plans fall apart. People change. Energy fades. And if you're not rooted in a deep, clear vision, you'll drift. You'll lose direction. You'll chase distractions. You'll start living by reaction, not intention. But when you're locked in, when your vision is clear, it doesn't matter what shows up around you. You stay the course. What do you want bad enough to suffer for? Let's be real. Everyone wants success until it's time to suffer for it. That's the test. And your vision is what keeps you going when comfort tries to convince you to quit. Ask yourself, what are you willing to hurt for? What dream is worth the grind, the lonely nights, the delayed gratification? Because when the goal is big, the road will be tough. And if you're not in love with the destination, you'll give up somewhere in the middle. Your vision has to be so clear, so powerful, that you'd rather struggle forward than stay stuck where you are. Everything must serve the vision. Once your vision is set, you need to make every decision through that lens. Should you say yes to this opportunity? Ask yourself, does it serve the vision? Should you hang out with that group? Does it serve the vision? Should you keep that habit? Does it help or hurt where I'm trying to go? When you know your direction, you become ruthless about your focus. You stop letting life pull you around, and you start pulling yourself toward what matters. Say no to what doesn't fit. This part is hard, because staying locked into your vision means you'll have to say no to some good things. Things that are comfortable, things that are popular, things that make sense to everyone but you. But not everything good is aligned. And sometimes what's good can become the enemy of what's great. You'll need to let go of distractions, of temporary validation, of people who don't see what you see. That's not selfish. That's focused. That's the price of building something meaningful. Don't let doubt blur the vision. There will be days when your own mind turns on you. It'll whisper, "Who do you think you are? This is too big. What if you're wrong?" That's when you go back to your vision. You remind yourself what you're fighting for, why you started, where you're going. Doubt will always exist, but if your vision is louder, you'll keep moving. You don't silence doubt with noise. You silence it with clarity. Your vision needs repetition, not just inspiration. Here's something most people miss. You don't just need to have a vision, you need to repeat it daily. Write it down. Speak it out loud. Visualize it when you wake up. See it before you sleep. Because if you don't remind yourself of where you're going, you'll forget. And when you forget, you drift. Don't let that happen. Repetition creates belief, and belief builds action. Discipline is the bodyguard of vision. You've probably felt this before. You get inspired, you set a big goal, you feel unstoppable for a few days. Then life hits. You get tired. The fire fades. And suddenly the vision doesn't seem so clear anymore. That's why discipline matters. Discipline protects your vision when emotion disappears. Discipline says, "I'm not here for the feeling. I'm here for the future." It shows up even when you don't want to, even when it's boring, even when the path feels dry. Because the disciplined don't chase motivation. They create momentum. Your vision is yours alone. Protect it. Not everyone will understand what you're trying to build, and that's okay. It's not their job to believe in your vision. It's yours. You weren't meant to live someone else's dream. You weren't built to follow their map. You have your own mission, your own blueprint. And sometimes that means walking alone, for a while. But the ones who finish strong are the ones who stay loyal to their vision, even when the crowd walks away. When it's hard, look ahead, not around. When the journey gets tough, it's tempting to look around, to compare, to scroll, to wonder why others seem further ahead. But comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, your clarity, and your progress. Instead of looking around, look ahead. Keep your eyes on your own paper, your own path, because your story is being written, and the plot twist is coming. But you'll miss it if you're too busy living someone else's chapter. See it before you see it. The best achievers in history had one thing in common. They saw it before anyone else did. Before the success, before the crowd, before the money, before the validation. They believed when there was nothing but faith. And so must you. Your vision will feel invisible until it becomes undeniable. So hold it, feed it, protect it, because everything you're becoming starts with everything you see.
Part 10. Rise every time you fall. Build unshakable resilience. Let's talk about something nobody really wants to face: failure. It's uncomfortable. It's humbling. Sometimes it breaks you. But here's the truth you need to hear. You're not defined by how many times you fall. You're defined by how many times you get back up. Failure is not final unless you let it be. Everyone falls. Everyone slips. Everyone has days, seasons, and whole chapters where they feel off track. That's not weakness. That's life. But most people treat failure like the end of the story. They hit a wall and decide it's a sign to stop, to shrink, to settle. Not you. Because if you're serious about winning, you need to flip the mindset. Failure isn't the finish line, it's feedback. It's your personal growth report card, not to shame you, but to shape you. Resilience is a muscle. You build it by using it. You don't become resilient by reading about it. You become resilient by living through the hard stuff. Each time you get knocked down and stand back up, you build mental muscle. Every disappointment, every closed door, every rejection, every breakdown, it all stacks strength inside you, if you let it. It hurts, yes, but it also hardens your resolve. It sharpens your vision. It reminds you what you're made of. And the people who keep rising, they become unstoppable. You're allowed to fall apart, but not stay there. There will be moments when you break, when the pressure is too much, when the silence is too loud, when you question everything. You don't have to pretend to be strong all the time. You don't have to fake smiles and say, "I'm fine," when you're not. But here's the rule. You can fall apart. You can cry. You can rest. But you can't quit. You owe it to yourself to keep going. Let the breakdown be the setup for the bounce back. Every comeback starts with a choice. You don't need permission to start again. You don't need applause to get back up. You don't need perfect conditions to take the next step. You just need one decision. I'm not done yet. That's it. Once you decide you're not staying down, momentum starts to build. Energy starts to return. Hope begins to rise. The comeback doesn't start with action. It starts with attitude. Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It means you're learning. Some of the most powerful, successful people you admire, they've failed more than you've even tried, but they didn't let it make them bitter. They let it make them better. The difference is mindset. They didn't see failure as proof they weren't enough. They saw it as a sign they were growing. You've got to change your inner dialogue. Instead of saying,
I failed, I suck. Say, I failed, I learned. Big shift, big difference, big future. Start from where you are, not where you think you should be. One of the biggest lies that stops people from trying again is, I should be further along by now. That thought will trap you. It's shame disguised as motivation, and it keeps you stuck in comparison instead of action. Here's the truth. You are exactly where you need to be, learning what you need to learn, gathering the strength you'll need later. Start from here, not from where you should be, from where you are. Progress doesn't require perfection, it just requires movement. Turn every fall into fuel. So what do you do with failure? You use it. You ask questions. What did I learn? What will I do differently next time? What strength did this reveal in me? Then you move forward with more clarity, more experience, more fire. Every scar becomes a source of strength. Every setback becomes a setup. You're not behind. You're being prepared. Don't fear falling, fear staying down. Falling doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're trying. What's dangerous isn't falling. It's staying down so long, you forget how to get back up. You weren't meant to stay stuck. You weren't meant to play small. You weren't meant to live afraid of failure. So stop letting fear be the driver. It doesn't get a say anymore. Let courage lead. Even if your legs shake, even if your voice cracks, show up anyway. Bounce back stronger. That's the game. The strongest people in the world, they've mastered one thing, the bounce back. They don't avoid pain, they transform it. They don't avoid mistakes, they learn from them. They don't live in fear of failure because they know they'll rise every time. You can too. That's what this journey is all about. You're not building a perfect life, you're building an unshakable you. Keep rising, again and again and again. You've fallen before. You'll fall again. But the win belongs to those who don't stay down. Every time you get back up, you reinforce something deeper in yourself. Strength, faith, purpose, resilience. So let this be your reminder. No matter how many times life knocks you down, you rise. Again and again and again. Because the real win isn't just reaching the top, it's who you become in the climb.
Trust the process even when it's quiet. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever felt like you're giving everything you've got, but nothing's moving? You're showing up, you're putting in the effort, you're checking the boxes, and yet no applause, no big breakthrough, no payoff in sight. It's like shouting into the void. But here's what you've got to understand if you want to win long term. The process works even when it's silent. Progress is often invisible at first. Think about nature for a moment. You plant a seed in the soil. You water it, give it light, tend to it daily. And for weeks, maybe months, you see nothing. But beneath the surface, roots are growing. A foundation is forming. That's what growth looks like sometimes. Quiet, hidden, still. The same thing happens in your life. When you're doing the work consistently, but the results haven't bloomed yet, trust that something is happening. It's just not visible yet. Don't confuse silence with stagnation. Just because you're not seeing fast progress doesn't mean you're stuck. Real growth, lasting transformation, it happens slow. It's not flashy, it's not loud, and it sure doesn't show up overnight. You don't go to the gym once and see abs. You don't read one book and become a master. You don't meditate for a week and suddenly have total inner peace. It's repetition. It's boring consistency. It's faith without evidence. And that's what separates those who succeed from those who quit too early. This is where most people give up. Let's be honest. Most people don't fail because they lack talent.
They fail because they don't have patience. They get discouraged too soon. They expect fireworks from every effort, and when they don't see immediate returns, they bounce. But champions, they play the long game. They understand that progress compounds in the shadows before it shines in the spotlight. You don't stop watering the seed just because it hasn't sprouted yet. You keep going. Fall in love with the work, not just the results. Here's a mindset shift that changes everything. Don't just chase outcomes. Fall in love with the process. Love the quiet mornings of journaling. Love the discipline of showing up to the gym. Love the repetition of reading, thinking, growing. Love the solitude of creating something that matters. Because if you only show up for the results, you'll quit the moment things get slow. But if you show up because you love the craft, you'll keep going no matter what. And ironically, that's when the results come. You're building character in the waiting. Think of the times when nothing seems to be happening. Those are the moments your character is being built. Patience, discipline, focus, integrity. It's easy to be motivated when everything is working. But who are you when it's not? Who are you when it's just you and the grind, and no one's watching, and nothing's happening, and all you've got is your why? That's when you're truly becoming unstoppable. Let go of the timeline, but never the vision. One of the most powerful things you can do? Detach from when it has to happen. Stop putting deadlines on your dreams like, I should have made it by 30, or if this doesn't work in 6 months, I'm out, or if I don't go viral, what's the point? You can't control the timeline, but you can control your consistency. You can control your effort. You can control how you show up today. Success is not on your schedule, it's on its own. But it always shows up for those who don't stop planting seeds. Trust is the bridge between effort and outcome. Let's break it down. Effort is what you control. Outcome is what you want. Trust is what connects them. You don't always get immediate feedback when you're doing the right thing, but that doesn't mean it's not working. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep adjusting, and trust that what you're building will eventually show. The universe doesn't ignore consistency. It just tests it first. Celebrate invisible wins. Here's a small shift that builds massive momentum. Start celebrating the wins no one else sees. You woke up early even when you didn't feel like it? Win. You resisted the urge to scroll mindlessly and chose to read instead? Win. You said no to distractions so you could focus on your goals? Big win. These might not go viral, they might not impress anyone, but they are the building blocks of everything you want. Keep stacking them. Keep showing up, especially when it feels pointless. The days you don't feel like it, the days when your motivation is gone, the days where it feels like nothing matters, those are the most important days to show up. Not because it feels good, not because you're seeing results, but because you're reinforcing who you are. Every time you follow through, even when you don't feel like it, you strengthen the muscle of self-trust. And that muscle, that's what separates the dreamers from the doers. Patience isn't passive, it's powerful. Patience isn't just sitting around waiting. It's not giving up responsibility. It's active faith. It's choosing to keep moving forward even when the reward is not immediate. It's not about sitting back. It's about leaning in. Every page you read, every workout you finish, every distraction you overcome, every time you keep going when you could have quit, you're building a future that will thank you later.
Part 12. Guard your focus like it's your future. Let's be real. In today's world, distraction is everywhere. It's not just knocking on your door, it's kicking it in. The scrolling, the comparison, the endless opinions, the noise. And if you don't protect your focus, it'll be gone before you even know it. That's why in this part, we're talking about something critical. Your ability to guard your attention like your future depends on it, because it does. Your focus is the gateway to your growth. Let me put it this way. Whatever has your attention has your life. You become what you consistently think about, what you watch,
what you listen to, what you let into your mental space every single day. It shapes you. So if you're constantly plugged into drama, into distractions, into negativity, don't be surprised when your energy feels drained and your progress feels stuck. Focus is your most valuable currency. And every moment, you're either investing it or wasting it. The real enemies of progress, they're subtle. People think their biggest obstacles are things like lack of time or lack of money. But truth is, it's the subtle things. That quick scroll that turns into 45 minutes of comparing your life to strangers. That one toxic conversation that lingers in your mind all day. That one notification that pulls you off course just when you were getting into flow. It's not the big bombs that derail your growth. It's the small, silent leaks of attention. Protecting your energy is not a luxury. It's survival, especially if you're chasing a dream. Create a life where distraction can't breathe. Here's what you've got to do. Build a system around your goals that makes distraction hard to reach you. That might mean turning your phone on Do Not Disturb during focus hours, unfollowing people who drain your focus instead of fueling your growth, creating a physical space that's free of clutter and chaos, saying no to events, invites, and habits that don't align with where you're going. You're not being rude. You're being protective of your mind, your energy, and your future. Not everyone will understand, and that's okay. Here's the hard truth. When you start focusing on your personal growth, some people might think you've changed. You're quieter. You're more distant. You're too focused. And guess what? They're right. You have changed because you're no longer available for the things that once distracted or diluted you. You're not ignoring people. You're prioritizing yourself. And not everyone's going to clap for that. That's okay. You're not living your life to impress the crowd. You're living to become the person you're meant to be. Choose silence over noise. One of the most powerful moves you can make in a noisy world is silence. Silence the opinions. Silence the pressure. Silence the feed. Silence the need to prove anything. In the silence, you can hear yourself again. In the silence, you can think clearly. In the silence, you remember why you started. You don't need to post every win. You don't need to explain every move. You don't need to get validation to stay on your path. Your focus is yours. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is move quietly and intentionally. Your environment must support your mission. You can't expect to stay focused if you're surrounded by chaos. If your home, your friends, your habits, or your schedule are all pulling you in different directions, you've got a clean house. That might mean decluttering your physical space to reduce mental friction, blocking out time each day where you're unreachable, surrounding yourself with people who respect your grind, saying no to anything that feels like it's pulling you backward. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Build systems that protect your focus. Protecting your focus equals protecting your peace. Let's make something clear. This isn't just about being productive. It's about protecting your peace. Because when your mind is constantly scattered, your soul starts to feel anxious. But when you control your inputs, your energy aligns, your vision clears, your peace returns. You stop reacting and you start creating. And in that space of clarity, that's where your best work comes from. You can't say yes to everything and expect to win. Every yes is a no to something else. If you're saying yes to distractions, you're saying no to discipline. If you're saying yes to validation, you're saying no to authenticity. If you're saying yes to every invitation, you're saying no to intentional rest and focus. You have to start saying no more often, even to good things, so you can say yes to the right things. That's not selfish, that's strategic. Energy vampires are real, and they don't always look evil. Let's talk about people for a second. Not everyone in your circle deserves access to your inner world. Some people smile to your face, but constantly drain your time, your belief, your drive. And here's the thing, they're not always bad people. They're just not your people for this season. You don't have to cut everyone off, but you do have to create boundaries. Boundaries that protect your mental clarity, your emotional balance, and your forward momentum. Don't just protect your focus, strengthen it. Here's a mindset shift to end this part with. Focus isn't just something you protect, it's something you build. You can train your brain to focus longer, deeper, and stronger. Practice working in deep, uninterrupted blocks. Meditate, even just for a few minutes, to train your attention. Set one main priority per day and own it. Journal your thoughts to unload the noise in your head. It's not about being perfect. It's about becoming more intentional every day. Because a focused mind, that's a dangerous thing. It cuts through noise. It creates clarity. It makes the impossible possible.
Part 13. Own everything. That's where freedom begins. Let's pause for a second and ask one of the realest questions on this journey. Who's responsible for your life? Really? Not your parents, not your boss, not your ex, not the economy, not the algorithm. It's you. The moment you accept that, that's the moment your whole life begins to shift. The most powerful shift, from blame to ownership. You see, most people stay stuck because they're too busy blaming. If they had supported me, I'd be further by now. If I had more time, I'd finally work on my goals. If I didn't grow up with trauma, maybe I'd be more confident. But here's the thing. Blame gives away your power. Ownership brings it back. When you start saying, "It's on me," all of it, you stop waiting for life to change, and you start changing it yourself. You can't heal in a mindset of victimhood. There's a difference between acknowledging pain and living inside it. You might have been through things that weren't your fault. You might have been hurt, abandoned, rejected, overlooked. But staying stuck in a victim mentality, that only delays your healing. You can validate your past while still taking ownership of your present. You don't need to wait for an apology to evolve. You don't need closure to move forward. You don't need permission to heal. That power is already in your hands. Responsibility isn't blame. It's control. Let's clear something up. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means giving yourself the power to respond. Responsibility equals response plus ability. You might not control the storm, but you control how you steer the ship. You control how you show up, what you consume, how you speak to yourself, what you focus on, what standards you set. And that's enough to change your entire life. You are the CEO of your life. Start thinking like it. If your life was a company, you'd be in charge of your mindset, culture, your actions, operations, your relationships, team, your goals, vision, your environment, workspace. If something's not working, don't complain. Audit, shift, fix, grow. Because no one's coming to save you. No mentor, no podcast, no magic opportunity. It's you. You're the one. You're always the one. Take inventory of your life without excuses. Here's a powerful exercise you can do today. Look at every area of your life and ask, am I where I want to be physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually, creatively? If the answer is no, that's not shame. That's data. It's a starting point. But don't just list the problems. Own your role in creating or tolerating them.
That's how transformation begins. Ownership turns pain into power. Let's be honest. There's a kind of pain that comes with taking ownership. It hurts to admit that you've been self-sabotaging, that you stayed in situations longer than you should have, that you've made excuses, that you've avoided growth, that you've lied to yourself. But after that sting comes your power, because now you can do something about it. You can change the story. You can break the patterns. You can create something new. Ownership isn't punishment. It's the doorway to liberation. Excuses feel good, but growth feels better. You know what's easy. Saying, I'll try again when I'm less busy, or I just don't have the motivation lately, or it's too late for me. Excuses are soft. They feel safe. They protect your ego, but they cost you your potential. Excuses might win the moment, but they lose the life. Growth feels awkward. It's uncomfortable, but it's honest. And honesty with yourself, that's where real progress starts. Change doesn't happen when you're ready. It happens when you're real. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start getting real. Real with your habits, real with your choices, real with the version of you that you're dragging along because you're afraid to let go. You don't need another motivational video. You need to look in the mirror and say, it's on me. I've got work to do. Let's go. That sentence, that's the moment you level up. Nobody owes you, but you owe you. Let that sink in. The world doesn't owe you success. Your past doesn't owe you healing. Life doesn't owe you fairness. But you owe you. Your best effort, your highest discipline, your fullest potential, your future self's respect. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to show up. Not for followers, not for praise, but for you. Because you're worth fighting for. It's not about control. It's about creation. Some people resist ownership because they think it means being a control freak. But this isn't about controlling outcomes. It's about creating alignment. When you own your life, you don't control what happens, but you choose how to rise. You don't control who doubts you, but you choose to believe anyway. You don't control the timeline, but you choose to keep showing up. Ownership gives you the power to create forward. And forward is the only direction that matters.
Push through when you want to quit. That's where winners are made. Let's talk about that moment. You know the one. You're tired, mentally drained, emotionally done. Progress feels invisible. Doubts scream louder than dreams. And every part of you whispers, just quit. But here's the truth. That moment right there is sacred. It's where average people walk away. And it's where future winners get born. Everybody wants success until it gets heavy. See, it's easy to be disciplined when life's exciting. It's easy to show up when motivation is fresh. But what about when you've been consistent but see no results? Your efforts go unnoticed. You feel alone in your pursuit. That's when the real ones are separated from the dabblers. Because success isn't about who's loudest in January. It's about who's still standing in December, quietly doing the work, with no spotlight. Your feelings are valid, but they're not final. Let's get something straight. It's okay to feel tired. It's okay to question things. It's okay to want to pause. You're human. But don't confuse a bad moment with a bad direction. Don't let temporary frustration create a permanent exit.
Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs happen right after the breakdowns. That voice telling you to quit, that's resistance. That's growth knocking on the door. That's life asking, how bad do you want this? Pain is the currency of progress. Here's the deal no one talks about. Every level you want will cost you something. Waking up early when you're tired. Saying no when your friends say yes. Working when no one's watching. Getting rejected. Failing. Starting again. It hurts, but the pain isn't punishment. It's tuition. It's the price of transformation. And guess what? Most people quit because they want results without paying that price. Not you. You're built for more than that. When you want to quit, double down on the basics. In the hardest moments, don't complicate things. Go back to the simple. Show up. Focus on one thing. Breathe. Move your body. Read 10 pages. Write your goals. Sleep early. Drink water. Eliminate distractions. These tiny actions, they keep your momentum alive. They remind you, you're still in the game. And sometimes that's all you need. Not to win big today, but just to not quit. Discipline doesn't ask for permission. There's a harsh truth here. If you always wait to feel ready, you'll never move. Discipline doesn't knock and say, "Hey, you feeling good today? Want to grind?" No. Discipline shows up anyway. It gets dressed. It starts the reps. It turns on the camera. It opens the book. It creates even when it's uninspired. Because you don't rise when you're motivated. You rise when you're disciplined. Quitting is a habit. So is pushing through. Let's zoom out. Every time you choose to push through, you're wiring your brain to become more resilient, more capable, more unshakable. You're creating a self-image that says, I keep going, no matter what. And every time you quit when it's hard, that gets wired too. That voice that says, maybe next time, gets louder the more you obey it. So what kind of voice do you want living in your head? Remember why you started. When the journey gets foggy, look backward. Back to the moment you said, I'm tired of feeling stuck. I know I was made for more. This time, I'm going all in. You had a reason, a vision, a fire. That version of you, they still live inside you. So pause, close your eyes, and remember, you're not doing this for now. You're doing this for you 5 years from now, who's living the life you built because you didn't quit. Winning rarely feels like winning in the moment. Truth is, it doesn't always feel like progress. You'll often feel like you're failing right before the growth kicks in. The scale doesn't move for weeks. Then one day, boom, your body changes. The channel feels dead. Then a single video goes viral. You feel stuck creatively, then the breakthrough hits. But you never see any of it if you quit one day too early. The comeback story only exists if you stay in the fight. Everyone loves a comeback story. But here's what we forget. You have to stay in the ring to create one. You have to be willing to get knocked down, breathe deep, and stand up again, even when you're bruised, even when you don't know the outcome. That moment, when you get back up, that's where power lives. Not in being perfect, but in being relentless. Final word. Quitting doesn't end the pain. It just delays the progress. Think about this. If you quit now, you'll still feel pain. You'll just feel the pain of regret. You'll still have the dream, but it'll be haunting instead of exciting. You'll still remember what could have been, but never know what could have actually happened. So instead, feel the pain of pushing forward. Feel the burn. Feel the stretch. Feel the weight. And know this, that pain, it's building someone unstoppable.
Trust the process, even when you can't see the results. Let's face it, we live in a world addicted to instant gratification. You order food, it shows up in 30 minutes. You post a video, you expect views within the hour. You start working out, you check the mirror 2 days later hoping for abs. And that mindset kills more dreams than failure ever could. Because real success, it's slow, it's quiet, it's invisible for a while, but if you trust the process, the results will show. You're not stuck, you're just growing underground. Here's a metaphor for you. There's a type of bamboo in China that takes years to sprout. You water it daily, fertilize it, care for it, but nothing breaks the ground for the first 4 or 5 years. Then suddenly, it grows over 90 feet in 6 weeks. Now ask yourself, was it doing nothing all that time? No, it was building roots. Deep, solid, powerful roots that could support explosive growth. And maybe that's where you are. You're not broken. You're just building silently. Progress often looks like repetition. If you looked at your life right now, would you say, I feel like I'm doing the same thing every day. It's boring. I'm not sure if anything's working. Good. That means you're on the right path. Because greatness is built through consistency, not novelty. The strongest minds, the fittest bodies, the most successful brands, they're all the result of simple things repeated with excellence. Showing up, refining the basics, staying patient. It's not sexy, but it works. You're always planting seeds even if you can't see the garden yet. Every page you read, every rep you do, every dollar you invest, every hour you focus, you're planting seeds. But a seed doesn't bloom the day you plant it, and too many people dig up their seeds because they didn't see results in a week. You have to trust that. The workout today, it matters. The video you uploaded, it added to the body of work. The choice to eat clean, it shifted your energy. The garden will grow. Just don't stop watering it. The results come last. The work comes first. Think about this. When you see someone successful, you're seeing their highlight reel, not the grind behind the scenes. You see the best-selling book, the viral video, the 6-figure business. What you don't see is the late nights, the self-doubt, the years of silence, the thousands of things that didn't work. But they trusted the process, and eventually results caught up with their effort. Doubt will whisper. Trust will keep you moving. Here's the hard part. There will be weeks, even months, where you'll feel like nothing's changing. You'll wonder, am I wasting my time? Is this even working? Should I try something else? But you can't let doubt steer your ship, because doubt is temporary. Trust is a decision. And every time you choose to trust the process over your feelings, you're building strength most people never develop. Winners think long-term. Look around at most people. They chase hacks. They want shortcuts. They want 30-day transformations. But the people who actually win,
They think in years. They ask, who will I be in 3 years if I keep this up? What kind of legacy am I building? What foundation am I laying right now? It's not that they don't want fast results. They've just learned that fast isn't always real. Real is slow. Real is earned. Real is built. Progress isn't always measurable, but it's always happening. Sometimes progress shows up in your ability to stay calm during chaos, the way you say no to old temptations, your focus lasting 10 minutes longer than it used to, waking up without snoozing the alarm, creating even when you feel uninspired. These aren't viral milestones, but they're proof that you're shifting. And those micro wins, they stack, they compound, they evolve you. Celebrate consistency, not just results. Here's what to focus on. Don't just celebrate the outcome. Celebrate the input. You wrote 500 words today? That's a win. You got up early and trained? That's a win. You kept a promise to yourself? Huge win. Because consistency beats intensity. One big effort won't change your life. 100 small efforts will. You're closer than you think. Here's something wild. You may be just 1 week away from a breakthrough. One new connection. One post that reaches the right eyes. One internal shift that unlocks the next level. But you'll never know if you stop showing up today. You don't need to see the finish line to keep running. You just need to trust that every step is moving you forward. And one day, when you least expect it, you'll look back and realize it was all working the whole time. Final thought. Trust the work you're doing in the dark. If no one's clapping, if no one's watching, if no results are visible yet, that's okay. Because you know what you're building. And when the time is right, the world will see it too. Until then, keep showing up, keep trusting, keep building in silence. Because your future self, they're already thanking you.
Part 16. Hold the vision, no matter what tries to pull you away. Let me ask you something simple, but serious. Do you know what you're building? Because if you don't, the world will hand you distractions, not direction. The truth is, your vision is your compass. And in a world this noisy, if you don't hold it close, you'll get lost in someone else's story. So today we talk about locking in on your vision and never letting go, no matter the noise, the setbacks, or the self-doubt. Your vision is sacred. Protect it. Here's what most people never understand. Your dream, your goal, your vision isn't public property. It doesn't need to be explained. It doesn't need to be validated. It doesn't need a million likes. It just needs to be protected. Think of it like a small flame in a storm. If you don't shield it, the winds of negativity, doubt, and comparison will blow it out. So protect it like your life depends on it, because in many ways, your future does. Every decision is either fuel or a fire extinguisher. Once you have a clear vision, here's the key. Every choice you make either feeds it or fights it. Skipping the gym? That's a step away. Saying yes to another distraction? That's a detour. Prioritizing comfort over commitment? That weakens the foundation. But waking up early? That's a brick laid. Creating despite fear? That's momentum. Saying no to what doesn't serve you? That's power. When your vision is clear, your priorities become obvious. Ignore the noise. Stay on the path. Let's be real. The noise is constant. People telling you that'll never work. Social media making you question if you're far behind. Friends or even family who don't see the point in your effort. But here's a mindset shift that changes everything. You're not building for them. You're building for the future version of you, the one who looks back and says, "I'm proud we never quit." So ignore the noise.
Mute the chaos. Trust your compass. Vision isn't just what you see, it's what you feel. Vision isn't always visual. Sometimes you don't see it clearly yet, but you feel it. That pull to be more, that restlessness in your spirit, that drive to create something meaningful. Even if the path isn't lit, that's enough to begin. That's enough to keep going. Don't wait until everything is figured out to move. Move, and clarity will catch up. Detach from outcomes, attach to identity. A common trap, chasing goals purely for the result. But what if you flipped that? What if it's not about what you get, but about who you become? Hold the vision, not for the trophy, but for the transformation. Every early morning makes you more disciplined. Every hard choice makes you more resilient. Every day you show up makes you stronger, even if no one notices yet. That's the real reward. Your vision will cost you, but it will pay you back 10x. Let's be honest. Pursuing your vision comes with a price. You'll sacrifice comfort, approval, short-term pleasures, even some relationships. But what you gain in return? Integrity, confidence, alignment, freedom. The cost is real, but the payoff? It's freedom to live life on your terms, not someone else's. And that's priceless. When temptation shows up, ask, does this serve the vision I'm building? We all get tempted to procrastinate, to indulge, to settle, to take the easy way. But if you pause and ask, does this serve the vision I'm building? The answer becomes clear. The most successful people aren't the most talented. They're just the most committed to their vision. They said no more than they said yes. They stayed focused when others wandered. You can do the same. You don't need external motivation. You need internal alignment. If you're constantly looking for motivation, you don't have a vision, you have a wish. Because when your vision is real, it fuels you from the inside. You don't need someone yelling at you to get up. You don't need the perfect moment. You just need the reminder. This is who I'm becoming. This is what I'm building. This is what matters. That's more powerful than any hype video ever will be. Stay grounded when everything feels shaky. There will be moments where nothing makes sense, results are invisible, doubt creeps in, people leave, and in those moments it's tempting to say, maybe this vision isn't meant for me. But don't confuse delay with denial. Just because it's hard now doesn't mean it won't work. Your job is to stay grounded, breathe, recenter, and keep building. Final thought. Anchor your life to your vision. At the end of the day, your vision isn't just a dream. It's your anchor. It keeps you steady when the waves hit. It reminds you who you are when the world forgets. It guides your steps when the path is foggy. And the longer you hold on to it, the more real it becomes. So here's the call. Don't water it down. Don't trade it for comfort. Don't forget why you started. Hold the vision, build the life, win the war.
Rise every time you fall. The unseen strength of resilience. Let's get real for a second. No matter how focused you are, how clear your goals are, or how motivated you feel, you will fall. You will mess up. You will question yourself. You will feel lost. And that's not weakness. That's life. But here's the difference between people who win and people who wish they did. The winners stand back up every single time. Failure isn't the end. It's part of the process. There's this dangerous belief that success is a straight line, one breakthrough after another, one win after the next. No stumbles, no setbacks. But that's fiction. In real life, you try, you fail, you learn, you grow, you try again, stronger. Failure is feedback, not a full stop. It's the universe asking, how bad do you really want this? So when you fall, don't fall into shame. Fall into reflection. Then get back up. Resilience is built in the recovery. The most powerful part of your journey isn't the success. It's the moment after you fall and decide to rise again. That moment right there, when no one's watching, when your confidence is shaken, when quitting looks easy, and you still show up, that's resilience. And it's worth more than talent, strategy, or timing. Because people with resilience don't just survive, they outlast. You can't lose if you refuse to stay down. Here's a powerful truth. You only lose when you stop trying. You can get rejected 50 times. You can fail 1,000 times. But if you keep showing up, you're still in the game. And the people who make it aren't the ones who had it easiest. They're the ones who wouldn't go away. They refused to be ignored, refused to stay down, refused to accept anything less than growth. That can be you. Rock bottom is a place to rebuild. Sometimes life doesn't just knock you down. It drops you to rock bottom. And in those moments, when you feel like everything has fallen apart, you get two choices. 1, stay broken. 2, build again, stronger. Rock bottom isn't the end. It's a foundation. There's no clutter, no distractions. Just you, your pain, and your potential. So don't waste it. Use it to rebuild something better. Own your mistakes. Then move forward. Accountability is powerful. When things fall apart, don't just blame others. Own your role. Own your choices. Own your reaction to the fall. But don't live there. Too many people get stuck in shame, beating themselves up for what went wrong. Here's a better way. Acknowledge it, learn from it, and then move forward. You are not your failure. You are your response to failure. That's what defines your path. The comeback is always stronger than the setback. Think about your favorite stories, the ones that give you goosebumps. They're not about people who never fell. They're about people who got back up again and again and again. That's where the power is. That's where your next chapter begins. Whatever knocked you down, it's not bigger than what's inside you. And the comeback you're about to write, it's going to inspire people, starting with you. Your past doesn't define you. Your persistence does. It doesn't matter if you failed 100 times. The only thing that matters is this. Are you still willing to try again? Because the past is a teacher, not a jailer. You're not stuck. You're learning. You're evolving. Every failure is another layer of wisdom. Every setback sharpens your edge. And if you keep showing up, you'll be unrecognizable in a year. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. There's a Japanese proverb that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Simple, powerful, true. Because that's what winning looks like. Not perfection, not nonstop progress, but a refusal to stay down. So the next time life trips you up, say it to yourself. One more time. I get up one more time. Keep your why close when you feel weak. When you're tired, when everything feels pointless, when your goals feel out of reach, come back to your why. Why did you start? What are you fighting for? Who are you doing this for? Write it down. Read it out loud. Feel it in your chest. Because your why is your fire. And when your strength fades, your why will keep the flame alive. Final thought. You're not starting over. You're starting wiser. So if you've fallen, slipped, quit, or lost your way, remember this. You're not starting over. You're starting wiser. You've got experience now. You've seen the traps. You've learned what doesn't work. And that means the next time, you move faster. You go deeper. You rise higher. Because every fall adds fuel to the comeback. And you're not finished yet.
Trust the invisible, growth you can't always see. You've been doing the work, reading the books, changing your habits, getting up early, staying focused, pushing through. And yet, it feels like nothing's happening. No recognition, no breakthrough, no external proof that you're any closer than before. And that's where most people stop. Not because they're weak, not because they're lazy, but because they don't realize real growth is invisible at first. Seeds grow in silence. Think of a seed buried underground. It's in the dark. There's no applause, no audience, but it's not dead. It's preparing. It's pushing roots down, anchoring itself before it ever breaks the surface. That's where you are, right now. Your progress isn't always public. It's not always sexy, but it's real. And if you keep showing up, you'll break through, just like that seed. The work you do in the dark prepares you for the light. It's easy to be excited when results are visible, when followers go up, when money rolls in, when praise flows. But character is built in the quiet seasons, in the early mornings, in the late nights, in the choices no one sees. That's where the real you is forged. And when the spotlight finally comes, you'll be ready, because you didn't wait to be seen to become great. You were already doing the work when no one was watching. The gap between effort and evidence. Let's talk about the gap. It's that space between what you're doing now and the results you hope to see. It's frustrating, isn't it? You're putting in effort, you're staying disciplined, you're making sacrifices, and the results lag behind. That's normal. And if you quit in the gap, you'll never see what was on the other side. Stay in the gap. Live in the gap. Keep building in the gap. Because one day, that dam will break, and everything you planted will bloom all at once. Progress is often internal before it's external. You want a better body, a better income, a better life. But here's the truth. Internal shifts happen first. You become more patient, more focused, more confident, more disciplined. And when those qualities build up enough, they create the results. So if the outside world hasn't changed yet, but you feel different, that's not failure. That's the start of real success. Growth looks boring up close. You know what growth really looks like? Saying no to distractions, waking up when you don't want to, doing reps at the gym without a six-pack, writing pages that no one reads yet, saving money when it doesn't feel like much. It's boring. It's repetitive. It's quiet. But that's the work. And the people who stick with it, even when it's dull, are the ones who wake up one day in a life they once dreamed about. Don't mistake silence for stagnation. Just because things are quiet doesn't mean nothing's happening. Muscles don't grow while you're lifting. They grow during rest. Progress doesn't shout. It whispers. A little more self-control today. A little less comparison tomorrow. A little more belief in yourself this week. That's movement. That's momentum. Even if the world can't see it yet, you can feel it. And that's how you know it's real. Let the results surprise everyone, even you. Some of the most powerful transformations don't come with fireworks. They build slowly. And one day, you'll look up and realize you don't think like you used to. You don't speak like you used to. You don't react like you used to. You've changed for good. And the people around you will say, "When did this happen?" But you'll know, it happened every day, in the invisible moments they never saw. Patience isn't passive, it's powerful. Waiting is hard, but waiting with intention, that's power. It means you trust the process.
You respect the timeline. You know that growth doesn't follow your calendar. It follows your commitment. So instead of asking, why isn't it here yet? Ask, who am I becoming in the waiting? Because that's what really matters. Fall in love with the process, not the outcome. It's fine to have goals, but don't worship results. Fall in love with the process. The early mornings, the journal entries, the healthy meals, the uncomfortable conversations, the quiet progress. When you fall in love with growth itself, you stop chasing quick wins. You become someone unstoppable. Because you're no longer waiting to feel proud. You're living in alignment every single day. Final thought. What feels invisible now will be unmissable later. So if you're in the dark right now, keep going. If it feels like no one sees you, keep growing. If you're tired of waiting for results, keep trusting. Because the invisible doesn't stay invisible forever. And what you're building in silence will one day be impossible to ignore.
Part 19. Lock in your vision and refuse to let go. You've come a long way. You've grown. You fought battles no one knows about. You've stayed the course, even when it was lonely. But now, the challenge changes. It's not just about starting anymore. It's about staying locked in. Because distraction is everywhere. Doubt whispers louder. And comfort? It starts looking more tempting than growth. So in this part of your journey, it's time to tighten your grip on the vision you started with. Vision is your compass. You need more than just motivation. You need direction. And your vision, your clear picture of the life you want, is what gives that to you. It's the internal GPS. It's what tells you what to say yes to, what to say no to, what to pursue relentlessly, and what to let go of, even if it's tempting. When the days blur together, when you feel lost in the grind, look at your vision. That's your North Star. Everything must serve the vision. Every decision, every habit, every thought should be filtered through one question. Does this serve the life I'm building? If the answer is no, it goes. Harsh? Maybe. But necessary? Absolutely. Because you only have so much energy, so much time, so much focus. And if you waste it on things that don't align, you drift, you stall, you lose momentum. Winners aren't always the most talented. They're just the most committed to their vision. Discipline isn't restriction. It's protection. People will tell you you're too focused, that you need to live a little, that you're being too hard on yourself. Let them talk. What they see as restriction, you know is protection. You're protecting your time, your purpose, your mental clarity, your dream. That's not being rigid. That's being responsible. You're not missing out. You're tuning in to the life you're meant to build. Refuse to get comfortable in the wrong place. Comfort is sneaky. You hit a goal. You make a little progress. You feel a little better than before. And suddenly, you slow down. You relax. You settle. But you didn't come this far to plateau. You didn't fight all those battles just to stop halfway up the mountain. So, check yourself. Have you confused progress with arrival? Have you let up just because things got easier? Don't let comfort rob you of your full potential. You'll be tempted to water down the vision. Here's the hard truth. When the vision takes longer than you thought, you'll be tempted to shrink it, to settle, to make it more realistic, to say, maybe I was aiming too high. Don't fall for that. Your vision didn't show up in your heart by accident. It's there because it's possible. But only if you refuse to water it down. Hold the line, even when it's hard, even when you're tired. Your future self will thank you.
Noise is the enemy of clarity. The world is loud. Everyone's shouting advice. Everyone's showing off their life. Everyone wants your attention. But if you listen to all of it, you lose touch with yourself. So cut the noise. Turn off the endless scrolling. Unfollow people who make you doubt your pace. Spend less time consuming and more time creating. The quieter your mind becomes, the louder your vision speaks. Guard the vision like it's sacred, because it is. Your vision is not up for debate. It's not a group project. It doesn't need to be understood by everyone. In fact, the more uncommon your dream is, the fewer people will get it. That's okay. Stop explaining yourself. Stop waiting for approval. Stop letting outside opinions steer your path. This is your life, your purpose, your journey. Protect it. Honor it. Build it, brick by brick. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your standards. You eat differently. You wake up earlier. You say no more often. You think deeper. Some people won't like it. They'll call you distant, too intense, too disciplined. Let them talk. Because they don't see what you see. They don't feel what you feel. They don't carry what you carry. You're not here to live an average life. You're here to live a purpose-driven one. And that means keeping your standards, even when it makes others uncomfortable. Your vision will evolve, but your focus must stay sharp. As you grow, your dream might shift. It might expand. It might mature. That's good. That's natural. But don't confuse adaptation with distraction. Stay focused. Adjust when necessary, but stay aligned with the core. Remember why you started. Revisit your why often. It's your anchor, your fuel, your compass when life gets cloudy. Final thought. Build a life that makes you proud, not just impressive. This isn't about flexing on social media. This isn't about making people envy you. This is about peace. It's about waking up and knowing you're living life on your terms. A life that's aligned, intentional, resilient, real. You'll make sacrifices. You'll walk alone sometimes. You'll say no to things others say yes to. But in the end, you'll look around and say, "This is mine. I built this, and it was worth it."
Part 20. Fall, rise, repeat until you win. There's one truth about this journey that no one escapes. You will fall. You will get knocked down. You will get discouraged. You will want to give up. And sometimes you actually will. But that's not the end. It never is, because this isn't about never falling. It's about how fast you get back up. It's about becoming the kind of person who refuses to stay down. Falling is not failure. Staying down is. Everyone fails. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone has moments of doubt and weakness. But what separates the successful from the stuck is how they respond to it. Most people treat failure like a dead end. They stop. They retreat. They let shame take over. But the strong, they learn. They grow. They rise. They treat failure like feedback, not a final verdict. You're allowed to feel, but you're not allowed to quit. It's okay to cry, to break down, to admit this hurts. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you real. But don't unpack and live there. You can feel discouraged, just don't let it turn into surrender. You can feel lost, just don't stop walking. The most powerful thing you can ever say is, "This won't break me." Every time you get back up, you reinvent yourself. Each fall gives you a choice: to shrink or to sharpen, to quit or to come back stronger.
Resilience is like a muscle. It grows every time you use it. So the next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why me? Ask, what is this teaching me? How can I use this pain? Who am I becoming because of this? Because some of your greatest breakthroughs will come from your darkest breakdowns. Your past is a chapter, not the conclusion. Maybe you've made mistakes. Maybe you've wasted time. Maybe you've hurt people or been hurt. That's part of the story, but it's not the story. You're not defined by what happened next. You're defined by what you do next. Don't let your past become your prison. Use it as your platform. Use it as the reason you rise. The real ones don't just dream, they finish. Everyone wants to win. Everyone wants success. Everyone wants change. But few are willing to do what it takes until it's done. They get tired. They get bored. They chase shortcuts. But you stay in it. You show up even when no one claps. You keep building even when no one sees. You finish what you start. Because you didn't just come to try, you came to win. Pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. Pain feels eternal when you're in it, like it'll never go away. But it always does. What stays is the strength you gain, the mindset you build, the grit you sharpen. One day, you'll look back and be grateful for what once broke you, not because it was easy, but because it made you better. Be the one who got back up every single time. When people tell your story one day, don't let it be about perfection. Let it be about perseverance. Let them say, they kept showing up. They never stayed down. They believed in themselves when no one else did. That's what real success looks like. Not flashy, not flawless, just unshakable. Final message, win from within. You've listened to this whole journey. You've walked through mindset shifts. You faced the hard truths. You've been reminded of your power. But none of this matters unless you now decide. Decide to show up, to commit, to do the boring, quiet work, to stay locked in even when it's hard, to bet on yourself. Because the truth is, no one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand it to you. No one else can walk this path. But also, no one else is more capable. You have everything you need inside you. Not later, now. So start where you are. Focus on you. Keep rising. Keep building. Keep showing up. Until one day, not out of luck, not out of chance, but because you never stopped, you'll look in the mirror and say, I did it. I won. And I'm just getting started. When you're tired of starting over, watch this. Feeling stuck? Losing hope? Here's your wake-up call. You're not lazy. You're exhausted from starting over again and again, quitting when it gets hard, doubting when no one believes in you, giving up on dreams that once lit your soul on fire. But here's the truth. No one is coming to save you. And deep down, you already know that. This story will punch you in the gut with honesty, not fluff. It's about choosing to show up even when you're tired, scared, or alone. Because success doesn't belong to the lucky. It belongs to the relentless, to the ones who refuse to quit. The lesson? Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop shrinking your vision to match your pain. And start building a life that makes you proud. One uncomfortable, disciplined, focused day at a time. This isn't about motivation. It's about survival. Because if you don't take control of your future, fear will. If you're afraid of wasting your potential, watch this. If you're tired of being almost great, press play. If you've ever looked in the mirror and asked, is this all there is? This is for you. Like, share, subscribe. Join the movement, fuel your mind, win your life. Only on Mind Fuel Books.